Midnight, a cage, a voice so beautiful it almost killed him. Want more insane fantasy stories like this? Subscribe now.
A staggering $6 million bounty was placed on what authorities believed was nothing more than an unusually dangerous 8-year-old wolf. And after a single gunshot echoed through the dense forest, the elite strike team was convinced the mission was already over. Laughing and celebrating too early, they landed their helicopter and pushed deeper into the jungle to collect their prize. But the moment they laid eyes on the creature, every smile vanished, towering over the trees, muscles stretched unnaturally across its massive frame. The wolf looked less like an animal and more like a nightmare. As confusion spread through the team, the captain suddenly sensed something was wrong and ordered everyone to stay alert. Yet when a sound rustled nearby and turned out to be nothing more than a few deer, the tension faded. That single moment of carelessness cost them everything. Without warning, the giant wolf exploded into motion, killing one man instantly and critically injuring another before anyone could react. Gunfire erupted from all directions, but then the impossible happened. The wolf leaped into the air and began to fly. Panic set in as their formation collapsed. Soldiers were scattered, and one by one they were brutally slaughtered. The captain, now the only survivor, realized fighting was pointless and ran for his life, but the monster hunted him effortlessly. Just as the wolf closed in for the kill, a helicopter arrived to provide cover fire, filling the sky with bullets. Enraged, the wolf abandoned the captain, sprinted forward, launched itself upward, and tore the pilot straight out of the cockpit with its jaws, sending the helicopter spiraling into destruction. Moments later, the wolf appeared behind the captain, and his fate was sealed. The origins of this horror traced back days earlier to a space research station orbiting Earth, where a genetically mutated rat went berserk and destroyed the entire facility. With alarms blaring and systems failing, a lone scientist escaped in a pod carrying 3 experimental gene-altering serums. But as the pod descended, its glass cracked under pressure and exploded, scattering the vials across the planet. One vial was inhaled by the wolf, triggering its monstrous transformation. Another plunged into a remote lake and was swallowed whole by a crocodile. The third landed inside a zoo, where a gentle white gorilla named George accidentally inhaled it. Overnight, George's body underwent a terrifying change. His bones expanded, muscles surged, and his strength multiplied beyond comprehension. Scientists soon discovered the serum contained a hybrid of multiple animal DNAs, amplifying aggression and power while erasing natural limits. Though George desperately tried to communicate his fear and anger through sign language, the humans ignored his warnings and treated him like a problem to be managed. Feeling betrayed and threatened, George erupted in rage, smashing through reinforced walls, ripping apart railways, and rampaging through city streets as if they were made of paper. When the military arrived, tranquilizer darts only fueled his anger, but eventually the drugs overwhelmed him and he collapsed. Behind the scenes, a ruthless genetics corporation revealed its true agenda, activating a powerful radio signal designed to lure all mutated creatures to a single location. While being transported by aircraft, George suddenly regained consciousness, shattered his containment cage, and leapt from the plane alongside his closest human friend. Against all odds, both survived the fall. At the same time, the third monster finally emerged, a colossal crocodile, larger and heavily armored than any prehistoric predator ever recorded. Drawn by the signal, the flying wolf, the unstoppable crocodile, and George all converged on the corporation's signal tower. What followed was total annihilation. Military forces were helpless as bullets bounced harmlessly off thick hides. Tanks were lifted and hurled like javelins, and missiles barely slowed the advance. The wolf evolved deadly spikes, the crocodile's armor shrugged off explosives, and entire buildings collapsed beneath their sheer mass as the city descended into chaos. In the final confrontation, instinct took over. The crocodile struck first, catching the flying wolf mid-attack and killing it instantly with a brutal death roll, snapping its neck in one horrifying motion. Now, only 2 giants remained. George, wounded but determined, stood between the crocodile and his human friend, fighting not as a beast, but as a protector. Every weapon failed, every explosion useless, until in a final desperate moment, George seized a steel beam and drove it directly into the crocodile's eye. With a thunderous roar, the monster collapsed at last. Severely injured, George slumped against the ruins, motionless. His friend fell to his knees, believing he had lost him forever, until George's hand suddenly twitched. He had been playing dead. In that quiet moment after the destruction, it became clear that despite his monstrous form, George had retained what mattered most: loyalty, compassion, and the ability to understand human emotion. In the end, the real monsters were never the creatures created by science, but the humans who tried to control them.